like it's been a long time since I've actually come on this channel and talked about my actual actor life. I feel like I've talked about a lot of topics, but I've not talked about the honest day-to-day life of what being a 22-year-old actor auditioning for work, trying to find other jobs is like. And I feel like I've been trying a lot of new different things recently, new classes, doing new things, and I think it's just nice as actors for us to be able to talk to each other, because otherwise you're on your own a lot of the time and you don't really know what's going on with everyone else, and you can get so in your head, and I don't think that's healthy. And I think often I just feel a lot better after I've had a chat with another actor, an honest chat about the industry, had a little catch up. So hopefully that's what this video can be. And also I'll leave timestamps down below if you want to skip to a specific topic of my lifestyle, I guess, that you want to hear me talk about, then you can do that. But the first thing I want to talk about is job applications, and both the kind of auditions, acting job stuff, and also the non-acting stuff, because I feel like that's always a journey and it's very different depending on where you are at in your career. Because I used to do so much extra work before I got my acting agent and I loved it. Like, looking back, it was so fun to be able to spend 13 hours with a group of people and get to experience being on set, filming so many different types of scenes. You learn a lot, and it's just an interesting, very unique experience that, like, those who understand. Like, it's quite a wild experience to be, like, immersed in a TV show or film or whatever, and be meeting such a variety of different people, spending all day with them, spending a lot of time waiting and speaking to different people and playing all sorts of games. Connect 4 I played a lot of. Like, it's such an interesting job to have. But now I have an acting agent, and even if it wasn't in my contract that, like, ideally I shouldn't be taking on background work anymore, like, even if that wasn't the case, it still has been told to me when I was training that, like, there's a point where, like, it's recommended that sometimes you move away from background work if you're wanting to be seen for more acting roles. And also I think sometimes if you do background work on a show that you then want to audition for acting work on eventually, like, it complicates things and all of that. And it's just been something that, like, I've taken a step away from doing, which means I was doing a lot of that kind of work, so I've had to find other work. But also it's difficult to get any kind of work in the industry because I feel like the casting kind of stuff really interests me, but obviously I can't do that because as an actor there's a conflict of interest there. I also applied to do some kind of work as part of an agency, doing more kind of, like, not directly related to, like, any kind of conflict of interest stuff, but it's still a bit complicated. Like, can you really work in certain parts of the industry if you are an actor? Potentially not. So I think it gets really quite complicated because, like, what I have a lot of experience in is this acting industry, but it's hard to be able to have, like, a day job within the industry, even though I know now quite a bit about the industry. So I'm looking at lots of different other jobs, but generally, like, the people who are applying for the jobs and, like, graduate people know that the job market is quite dead at the moment. So I've been applying for so many jobs and I've been getting through to the interview stage quite a lot because they say, like, loads of good feedback, which is kind of annoying because I wish that I was doing something majorly wrong so then I could fix it and then get all the jobs. But I mean, it's a good sign that they say, like, my cover letters are well structured and my CV and everything. So I think, like, as with all kind of graduate jobs, like, I've heard some kind of graduate careers, like, it takes 2 years until you can get your entry-level position within the industry. And, like, sometimes when the job market's hard, it's just hard for anyone to get jobs. So I'm trying not to be hard on myself, but I do have a 0-hour contract that obviously is quite variable work-wise. So it's just about trying to find that balance, and I mean, the job application process can move so fast. So I'm filming this a couple weeks in advance. Maybe my job situation will be sorted by then. I really do not know, because I keep regularly getting to the interview stage, which is fun to get to meet all of these different people, and it's clearly a good sign, but that's just where I'm at with that. And audition wise, it has been quieter more recently. However, I have had quite a few opportunities to be in the room, like a few weeks ago, like last month, and I have been getting closer and closer to booking acting work, which is interesting because I now regularly get recalls, because I remember when getting a recall was more of a rare occurrence for me, and I have been told, like, through people who have trained me, that like you start getting some recalls, and then sometimes like you can get to a point in your career where you can be getting like regularly consistent recalls. And I'm not really booking the work, but getting through to the final round consistently is good, and I feel like I need to keep reminding myself of that. And there's also a thing within acting where, like, without saying too much, but like they can ask you to save the dates for things, and I've had lots of people I know who have been asked to save the dates for things, and like things can fall through, and that is what happened to me. Like, it's no guarantee of the job, they're just like asking you to keep yourself available for a job because they like you, and that's happened to me without going into details of the job. So even if I'm not booking it, the fact that they want to keep me available for the job and the fact that I'm getting through the rounds is good. I also always want to feel like I'm out there in the world, meeting new people, doing new stuff, and I feel like sometimes it can be hard to find like acting classes that are the right fit, but there are so many other related skills that I feel like I've been working on as well. And like, you don't have to give over your whole life to acting either. Like, I am not just obliged to purely just do acting classes and nothing else. So I did do a few weeks of tap that's now closed for the summer, but that was fun to get back into tap because I just love tap. And I also did a trial lesson, which is quite good actually, because there's lots of different stuff that you can like do a lesson in where your first lesson will be free. So like, why not try it out and see what it's like if you're free and able to go, and just see what kind of things you like to do, learn about yourself, try new things. So I tried salsa and something else as well that I can't pronounce the name of, bachata and salsa. And I'd also never really done a partner dance before, I don't think. I'd done like physical theatre, but that's entirely different kind of partner work. So doing a kind of like partner dance was very interesting, and to be honest, I was nervous about that element, which is why I brought a friend. Like, I feel like if you have friends to bring to something you're a bit nervous about, then that's good to be able to bring your friends, try something together. But actually it was really interesting. Another thing that I've started going to quite randomly, quite spontaneously, is a comedy improv group. And actually I thought it was going to be more acting based originally because I just knew it was an improv group, and then I found out it was a comedy improv group, and then I thought, well, I've committed to go now, might as well go. And I think actually it's really useful because in a lot of different auditions you'll be expected to do some kind of like audience interaction. Sometimes they'll want you to demonstrate in certain kinds of like panto children's theatre projects. So if I ever want to be or find myself auditioning for that again, then that's useful skills. And comedy improv, like learning about the structure of that and being in a group of that, is entirely different to what I was expecting, because actually it's not at all acting at all. It's more like a structure of comedy, which is useful to know because I feel like I get comedy audition material, and learning more about comedy and the various different forms of it is useful. I wouldn't otherwise know the comedy improv group demographic of people, so getting to meet entirely different people than you'd meet in your usual life is, I think, really enriching to your life, and it's taught me about comedy, and like I'm learning stuff from other people and their life experiences and their experience within doing like comedy, not acting at all, but like more comedy. And people have stand-up backgrounds, or people have various different other backgrounds that have led them into doing comedy improv, and it's more just like a structure of a comedy show, and it's so interesting to learn about. And I feel like having all these different influences and experiences to draw upon in your acting is sometimes I don't know, it might be controversial to say, but I feel like it's just as useful meeting all these people and learning about different art forms as it is doing an acting class, because I prefer to do comedy improv and learn about salsa and dance and movement than go to an acting class that isn't right. And maybe I will, like, I do acting through song as well. I've been doing a lot of singing, so I feel like learning all of these different additional skills will be useful as well, and they're all sort of related to performing. But I feel like it's so fun to be able to know that, like, if I don't have something on a certain night of the week, that I have a certain little activity, extracurricular activity to go to. Like, it's really useful, because otherwise in the quiet acting times you're just stuck by yourself and you're not really interacting with the wider world, and that's when you get into your own head, and that's when you start to feel negative and not as creative and fulfilled. And I just like to see people, like, it's not all about the art form either. It's just so interesting to be able to meet new people and spend time with new people, and I feel like I'm quite social and I like to learn about people and just see what kind of wild mix of people there are out there in the world. And I feel like that's life, you know, that's living, being able to be out in the world doing something and meeting people, even if the acting stuff is quieter at certain points, which is rare for me. Like, I haven't ever had it this quiet, and I'm sure it will pick up again soon, but maybe it's like over the summer there's not so much casting because things are either filming already, or like people are on their holidays and they're not yet casting for autumn. Maybe, I don't know, but like, everyone goes through their own different quiet periods, and I'm overall just trying to stay creative, spend time with my people. That's my update. And if you want to share actually your experiences, thoughts about where you're at in life and what's going on with you and all of that, then please do leave it in the comments, because I find it so nice to be able to have a group of people on there and be able to talk. And I feel like that's something as well that's really useful in being able to post to this channel and speak to various different people. Like, it makes the industry a lot less isolating, and it makes me feel productive posting a video every Monday. I feel like then I've done something in the week and I've progressed a little bit, and I've like added something and been out in the world a little bit. So it's really nice to be able to have this channel. So if you want to subscribe and follow along for more, then please do, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.